the Prison City Podcast. When the bars go up, you're officially locked in.
Welcome to the Prison City Podcast, my friends. I am the unofficial host, Patrick Cutler, and we have a very interesting show this week. Last week, to recap it off, we had a dating in 2021 for guys. Basically, the vice is pretty insane. Jay Marsh, unfortunately, is not here tonight. He had to take the night off after saying more than 5 words during that episode, so we were going to give him the night off. And today we're talking about drunk stories, because I've been drunk for about a week straight now. So anyways, we're talking about drunk stories, and then we might do a little we have an Epstein Island expert here with Kelly. Kelly knows Epstein Island very well, so might shift to Epstein Island and talk about the movie Enigma for the 500th time so far. So go ahead, Mahoney, and you take it away here for us.
Honestly, really excited to be back, and it's tough to say, Jay Marsh basically filled his quota of words for the entire year, so he won't be on another episode. And since I know we have literally 0 Jay Marsh fans, it's just us now. It's all the people you like. So really excited to get going.
All right, and we got Kelly. Kelly was traveling around the country. Oh my God! So this is funny. Kelly did 2 fucking shows. I mean, he made 2 fucking shows. The last 2 episodes from random locations across the Mideast to the Southeast, and that's crazy. He made 2 fucking shows out of like bathroom stalls and shit. And on his honeymoon, that's how dedicated he is to the Prison City Podcast. And Kelly, how good does it feel to be back in the actual studio tonight?
It feels really nice because the seat in my office here is a lot more comfortable than sitting on the shitter and whispering, so my wife doesn't hear me, because she didn't know I did those shows on our honeymoon, because I didn't want to fight with her on our honeymoon.
So how does it make you? How does it make you feel knowing that you snuck in, you acted like you were pooping for an hour and a half 2 different times, and that Jay Marsh had something come up and he can't, like, on your honeymoon? How's that make you feel?
Well, I did miss a show, a month ago or something, but I think I gave you guys at least 24 hours notice, not 4 hours. Jay Marsh, thanks for that one. but no, I'm dedicated to this shit. I just really did not want to do the show with Marianne Cameron, so that's why I skipped it.
The Jay Marsh thing is fucking hilarious. So I was like, he goes, so people haven't listened to every single episode so far, he goes from basically being so fucking hammered 30 minutes into the show, he's basically not even there. He's just falling off his chair the entire time and then passes out in the middle of an episode. He goes from that, basically that episode that we did with Stuart Jewell about aliens, I think Jay Marsh might have said 5 total words. If that. Yeah.
Well, and I think we just got a lot of viewership last week on the dating advice. I think he's got a fucking date tonight, because he was rock solid last week.
And then, we go to the dating advice, and I joke before the show about Jay Marsh being the dating expert. And we started the show, and he was the fucking expert on the panel for sure, without a doubt.
He talked a lot.
And honestly, what's funny is to think is, like, the reason he's probably not here is because he's out of Deer Lodge having some shitty chicken fried steak with some girl in her grandparents' basement or something.
Hey,
right this second, he's telling her, what's your move, or what the fuck is he saying? It's your move.
What's the move? And don't jizz where you eat was Jay Marsh's statements from last week, and he's clearly doing that right now. That's why he's not on tonight's episode. I'm pretty sure that's what's fucking going on.
Yeah. If I had to guess, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if I had to guess, he was eating spaghetti, like homemade from a spaghetti feed, which is, if you're from Deer Lodge, that's what we do. And he just saw the spaghetti and he's like, I just have to jizz where I eat, and that's why he's not on the episode.
Well, I'm back in my office, so I have it seems like I always have like a 5-second delay in here for whatever reason. So I'll just try to be a lot ruder when I cut each of you off tonight.
So we were back to I know Mahoney loves this, because back when we were in the theater back in the day, Mahoney got a lot of advice. We did a lot of plays back in the day, and his advice from a lot of people was like, you guys should just do a 3-man show with you, Kelly, and Pat. So we did a 3-man show. And I think in a lot of ways, this is reuniting that 3-man show from fucking, what was that, 2005?
Yeah, I think it was 05. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
maybe 04. I think it was 05.
It was 05. 04 was the Dork Meets Paul. 05 was the 3-man show because that was the same year as Singing in the Rain at the Gunport Theater there.
So we might as well call this the history of Deer Lodge Bridge. You know, the history of Deer Lodge Bridge is one of the few shows that's never been redone. Actually, there's a lot of shows at Kelly's original place that Kelly's written that has not been redone, but that's one of them. I don't know why we've never done that again with another cast, but it probably should happen here soon.
And in case our fans are wondering at home, one of my lines, I talked about basically the overall amount of people living in Deer Lodge. And in case you're wondering, I remember that line is 3,421.
I remember the 3-man shows with it was such a different shows. Like, so we had our lines. Kelly sent me and Mahoney our lines. So Mahoney was in Carroll and Helen, Montana. I was in Montana Tech at Butte, Montana. And I had these long delays between classes. I just remember going into like the fucking library at Montana Tech, and I would have my fucking 3-man script just like right there, just reading it every fucking day. So when we finally got rehearsals going, I think we basically came together the Saturday of Crunch Week, essentially, had 3 rehearsals, said, let's fucking go, right?
And like for anyone who's listening to this, and I bless you for listening to this, for anyone who's listening to this and you're a theater person, we literally didn't run the entire show all the way through until dress rehearsal. And I don't, like, we did a tech rehearsal where we just essentially did blocking and didn't even run the whole fucking show. We didn't run the show in its entirety until the day before we opened. That's fucking insane. Like, I don't think that's just next level cocky. And guess what? We fucking killed it. So
yeah. You know what's funny though, Kelly? I talked to like Kyle Gillette, who did a 3-man show with Kelly, and a lot of people have done 3-man shows. 3-man shows in theater for audience out there from wherever. 3-man shows, you typically have at least one stagehand back behind the scenes that's helping you change your costumes. So because the costume changes are fucking insane. For our 3-man show, was there ever anybody ever back there helping us or anything?
It was us. It was literally a 3-man show.
Yeah, not that I remember at all, too. But it's funny because my handle tonight's Drunk Fuck 2005. I just randomly put that on there because I got the Drunk Fuck in 2005 at Junior Buzzards, our annual camping trip. But now it's weird we're talking about the 3-man show because that was in 2005. So I actually don't remember it because in 2005 I was a drunk fuck during that entire performance.
But no, like I remember I'd get in like an hour before the show. Because you know how it goes. You're doing costume changes, whatever. You just throw shit. So I would just have one behind one flat. And for those listening who don't understand what theater is, basically, if you're looking at the stage, a flat is kind of the scenery that you see, right? And so we had this flat that was behind stage, and I just hung them in order of like, these are my costume changes from, I started as a ticket taker. And then in that same area, I just treated it as my dressing room of like, these are my costume changes from the start to the finish. And we all did the same thing. We each had our own little flat. No one helped us with anything. We had a light person, which I think was either your mom or Matt, and maybe it rotated. And outside of that, it was quite literally a 3-man show. Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, yeah, we did have our own flats because Mahoney started it with the ticket taker. The night came on and gave a huge ass fucking monologue. But it's like, imagine 3 flats up there, and flat 1 was Kelly's dressing room behind the flat, no actual dressing room. Flat 2 is Mahoney's, and flat 3 is mine. So we all had our own flat that we went behind, just put on different costumes and stuff. It was fucking insane.
And what's crazy is that some people absolutely adored that show. They loved it. And some people hated that show. There was no middle ground. Nobody was like, that was okay. That was kind of good. It was either you fucking loved it or you hated it. And we did 12 shows. We ran that show for 3 weeks straight. 4 shows a week was crazy.
And for me, I don't really, it's not like we did anything offensive. So I don't understand how anyone would be like, hey, boy, that show, I thought it was hilarious. I thought, like, when we're feeding off each other, when we're up on stage, I think that's when we're at our funniest. So for me, it's always going to be my funnest show because it's one I always wanted to do. And I felt like every night was a little bit unique and every night was like a little bit funnier than the night before. So in my mind, obviously I was the one performing. So I'm just very skewed, but I don't see how anyone couldn't think that shit's funny.
Yeah, I think so too. And I would say, man, my top 3 favorite plays we've ever done was I fucking love Dork Beats Paul. I know Mahoney took a beating that show. That's my number 1. And then it's probably the 3-man show, or I just love this last summer. Mayhem Montana was so much fucking fun to reprise those roles and do that. That was so much fucking fun this summer. So it's hard to say. But
yeah, sadly, the smaller the cast, especially if the people are good, the more fun it is because there's no fucking bullshit. There's no backstage drama. You do these 40-person musicals and shit. Doesn't matter who's in it. There's always going to be drama. 40 people in a congested small space. There's always going to be issues. But that was my biggest thing. I thought the 3-man show was hilarious, but I liked it because it was just like, that the 2 other guys on stage have your fucking back, and there's going to be some funny improvisations along the way as well.
And basically, there were pretty much 0 missed lines, like 0 during that show. Like,
yeah,
there were no missed lines during that.
Not only were there no missed lines, that's what I mean about every show is different. I mean, you remember the part like when Kelly was the teacher and we'd make him rhyme with something. That was different. If you would have come to our show 12 times, you'd have seen a different show 12 times. And in my opinion, a better show each time.
Yeah. Like Scott Grazier did. He came to every single show.
So yeah.
I just wanted to say one thing about the reason that I got from certain people saying they didn't like it was because, sometimes we didn't follow history exactly and stuff. I mean, but we were pretty fucking young. So it's like, we weren't really, I thought we did really well in the history, but we were more trying to do a comedy, make people laugh. So we took the little tiny bit of history that we knew about Grant Coors or Marcus Daly or something, and then we made it funny. That was the point of the fucking show. It wasn't to do a documentary really on Deer Lodge history to a T.
Yeah.
No. I just really don't understand how someone could come in that show and not leave being like, that was funny. I mean, even our local CPA was like, I'll never forget it. He was the very first guy I picked on as the ticket taker. And even at the end of the show, he was like, that was hilarious. Who wanted no part of me messing with him as a ticket. Went to him, it's fun, man. Not only was it a funny show that we made fun of ourselves, made fun of our town, but we got the audience involved. For me, will always and forever be my favorite show because to Kelly's point, we didn't have to deal with drama, and it was new every day. We got to play off each other because we knew each other well enough to be like, this will work today. Like, we get it. Balls. Suck my balls. Sorry, I just wanted to fill the dead air.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question, Kelly, here, because now that we talk about the 12 show thing is so back in the day for Cutler Bros Theater, back in the old Montana State Prison. So for the audience there in Nicaragua tonight, we were literally doing play productions inside a state prison in Montana, old state prison. So it's a museum, but it's still an old state prison or whatever. They had this little theater called the Gunport Theater where they used to have a gun port right next to the fucking seats. They could shoot people or whatever if it's something got out of hand. It's a old school theater and everything else. But back in the old days, we used to do 12 shows for everything because it was just a summer long production. You just did as many shows as possible. And I know that after that 3-man show, I know we started to go down to less and less shows, like 6 shows, 8 shows per production. It's like, was that 3-man show though, Kelly? I mean, I look back at this summer season, and we did something completely different this last summer season at our own theater here in downtown Deer Lodge, where we did 12 shows for each production. This past summer, just did 2 shows total. The reason we did that is COVID was fucking nuts. It's out of control. Regulations, people don't feel comfortable going out to shows, so we just did 4 weeks and 3 shows per weekend. Back when Mahoney was involved with 3-man show, it was 4 shows per weekend and 3 weekends. starting on a Thursday night. So Kelly, I just want to ask you questions. Like this past summer when we had to battle COVID and everything else with that and try to make sure we did everything. Is that the first time we've done 12 shows for a show since the 3-man show?
Well, no, I know Damn Yankees, we did 12 shows, but that was over the course of a month. So that was, because, I don't know when it changed, maybe 2016 or 7, started doing Friday, Saturday, Sundays. We cut the Thursday night show out, but it just depends on the run. It just depends on what we think is going to sell. And if we need to cram people into the audience, I don't know. Every show's got its own, reasoning why we do 12, 9, 6, whatever.
Didn't we do 12 shows for Forum?
I think we used to always do 12 shows at the Gunport. For the most part, I think we used to always do 3 weeks, Thursday through Sundays. That's a good question. That'd be interesting to go back and look. But did we do 12 shows? So this summer, you're saying, how many shows did we do of Mayhem? We did 9 shows, didn't we? And then we did we
did 12.
We ran it for a month.
I feel like you're right. I feel like every time we did a show in the Gunport, it was 12. Because even the I'm blanking on the name. What was the one that Matt wrote where we could ad lib? We did 12 shows of that.
The setup.
We did 12 shows of the setup.
Well, we just double check though, Kelly. I'm pretty sure because my calculations the entire time was like, Ammonia, you haven't done this run a long time, and this is the first time I've done it in forever. But fucking 8 consecutive weekends of shows. Shit. 1, 2, 3. Yep, Kelly. We ran. Yep. Romeo and Juliet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. We manned up this year, and we literally did 4 consecutive weekends of Friday through Sunday again, like, cause I remember because the 4th weekend of Romeo and Juliet, I kind of just almost got kicked out of the show because I was too drunk or I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, this year, and that's where Jay Morris would have been so good in this thing, because Jay Morris is a guy I just hung out with, we played football with. Suddenly we're doing fucking Romeo and Juliet for fucking 4 consecutive weekends. But like, yeah, it takes your toll. If you're doing it all summer, it takes a fucking toll on you. I haven't done this in years, and this past summer, it took a fucking toll on me for sure.
Yeah. Well, technically Mayhem Montana, we did, I think we did 11 shows because we didn't do a show on the 4th of July.
Oh yeah.
Sunday. But yeah, it takes a toll. And I don't know if that's age speaking or what, because back in the day at the Gunport, I just remember doing like show after weekend, you never even really thought about it. You were just constantly going, constantly at rehearsal, constantly doing shows. 3 every summer if you're involved.
Yeah, and I mean it was always Thursday, and I mean, and you guys remember, you start that first show, it's Thursday through Sunday, and about the second week of that show, you start basically, like, we were kind of always rehearsing for the next show, but then the second week of whatever show you were in, Monday through Wednesday, you're doing like, okay, now I'm fully into this next show because I already got this first show memorized. Like it was a lot of work. I don't remember wanting it any other way. I guess in a weird way, it was just like that was what we did, and for me, it was like I always felt like, let's make it a better show, right? Like the show I do on Thursday, let's make it better on Friday. Let's make it better on Saturday. Let's make it like, and you guys know, like when it was just us, like that original crew, for me, it was always like, I'm just trying to have fun with my friends. Like,
yeah,
if we put on a good show, cool. If not, like whatever, I'm still having fun with my friends.
And maybe that's the difference, between not to say it's bad nowadays or anything, but it two things. Back then we were just having fun with our friends, trying to make people laugh, trying to make the audience laugh, trying to create something. Nowadays, it just feels like we're more. I don't want to even call it a job, but it's towing on the line of a job where it's like, holy shit, we got to show up, we got to do this. It takes time and energy and effort. And the other difficult thing is the quality of the shows has increased every single year. So I think that puts a lot more pressure. Like, you really don't want to fuck up. You want to beat that last show. And I mean, after 100 shows, that gets harder and harder and harder each time, you know?
Yeah. So anyways, let's go into our actual conversation here tonight, because theater, we should do a lot more theater. I agree on this conversation, because fucking we can go on theater stories for fucking ever. Some guy, he used a urinal once in the Gumport Theater. I don't know what show it was during, tell you the truth. I think it was a musical, and the guy couldn't make it to the actual toilet, so he shit in the fucking urinal. That was one of the stories about theater. You remember that story, Mahoney?
Is the internet shitty on your guys' end? Because like,
yeah,
Mahoney's been frozen for like 20 minutes.
It's kind of shitty right now. Well, I guess Mahoney's coming back in here. All right. So
you gotta mute yourself, or someone's gotta mute.
So an old guy.
I was in the middle of telling the fucking story, and all of a sudden my phone's like, "Hey, you need to like twist it upside down." Anyway, it was Calamity Jane. So we were in Calamity Jane, and he not only did he shit in the urinal, he did it like early. It wasn't like a spot where someone should be like, "I'm so drunk, I need to shit in the urinal." It was like early in the first act.
Yeah.
And this was an audience member, right?
Yes.
This wasn't a cast member.
It was an audience member. I vividly remember this. This was the first Saturday of Calamity Jane, and this guy goes out and fucking shits in the urinal, and we don't find out about it until intermission. And then Kelly, if you remember, we used to kind of do our our trivia thing during intermission, and we're up there and we find out about it, and Teresa at the time was like, "You guys need to say something." I was like, "I mean, what the fuck do you want us to say? Like someone shit in the urinal? Like what are we?"
Yeah, I think the guy was like senile or something. You know, a lot of older folks have come to the musicals, especially. I think the guy was just like senile. That's the story that I got. Like the toilet's right there, or was the toilet broken? Maybe I'm not remembering.
No, it was the guy. The story is the guy is probably an older person. We can only imagine it was most like an older person, because if you looked at the shit, it was actually like diarrhea, running shits.
Oh no, it was disgusting. Yeah, like it probably could have flushed down the urinal.
Yeah, it was nasty. It was probably an older guy, senile, older, didn't know what he's doing, or couldn't. I don't know. I can't say couldn't make it to the toilet, because the toilet's fucking 2 feet away. So
he was right there. He was right fucking there.
Hey, all this urinal talk makes me have to take a piss. I'll be back in a second.
All right. So
but yeah, I remember it. I remember it very vividly, because it's hard to describe to people who haven't been in like musicals that are, it's a big production, right? And Pat can attest to this. It's like, there's a lot of people, like it's 40, 50 people. And when you're in a small town, that's a ton of people.
Yeah.
And you're putting your name behind it, and you're kind of like, whatever. So,
it's
a lot of people.
Yeah. And my most disappointing thing I ever had, and it was probably, I don't want to say it's disappointing or negative or anything like that, but I remember we did that fucking 3-man show. We could barely get hardly anybody in there. And we do fucking, was it? No, it had to be fucking Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain followed the 3-man show for sure. We did Calamity Jane next year. So we do a 3-man show. Hardly anybody there, hardly get anything at all. And we do fucking, I will never forget it, because we did a 3-man show for 12 shows. The opening fucking week of Singing in the Rain, and I go out there for my little bit part of the beating or whatever, and the audience just goes fucking nuts laughing. And I'm like, this is not even close to the humor we had in the 3-man show. I'm not even fucking close. Not even close. Remember that?
I remember it vividly, because I was actually talking with Kelly about before the show about like the shit we did in Singing in the Rain. It was just like, I loved the music in Singing in the Rain, like a great musical, probably my favorite. But we had bit parts because we had just done a 3-man show for 3 fucking weeks in a row for 12 shows. So we're just like, all right, we'll do whatever. And Jerry Ann, to her credit, was just like, listen, there's going to be this dead portion. You guys can just go up and ad-lib and like make it whatever. And we're doing.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
We're doing the dumbest shit. We're like carrying 2x4s. It's not funny at all. and it's just fucking killing. Like, it's like we're up there. It's like Chris Rock and like his opening like stand up. Like, how is this killing? Where were you guys during the 3-man show? It made no sense. Like the shit we were doing was like kind of funny, and the crowd reacted like it was the funniest stand up special they'd ever heard in their life.
I think you and I had like 2 lines, maybe it was just 1 line each in that entire show. Because I was coming back from Marquette University. I was singing in the rain until until the show basically went up, and then they needed a stagehand or whatever. But I was just going to say about improv skills with like the 3-man show and the setup and all this other stuff, and just normal improv shows in general. When you develop those skills to get up there and just make shit up and then get comfortable doing it, you're kind of fucking spoiled. It's hard to get nervous or take anything too seriously for any show. It doesn't matter the show, because that you basically got a safety net the entire fucking time, because you've made up 2 hours of bullshit or 3 hours of bullshit. Why the fuck would you be scared about a 10 lines in a show or something like that? Improv spoils actors, but I think everyone needs that training to really get comfortable and confident on stage.
And honestly, that was like, outside of Singing in the Rain and the music that I loved, it was one of my favorite musicals, because Jerry Ann just said there was this time where the main actors were offset, and she was like, Mark and Kelly, can you guys just go on and just like whatever? And so she just like let us do, we literally just did whatever we felt like, and it was different every night. And there was no consistency, and we just did literally whatever the fuck we felt like. And that killed. We got bigger laughs on that, and it was funny, but it wasn't like, obviously anytime you get a laugh when you're on stage, it feels good. But when I left, I was like, where were these fucking motherfuckers during the 3-man show?
Yeah, no shit, man.
Anyways, let's get on to the main topic of tonight's show. Fuck, 40 minutes in.
Let's circle the wagons.
Let's circle the wagons. A big circle here. Kelly or Mahoney just left. Not sure what he's doing. All right. We're going to talk about drunk stories here, and that's the main topic of tonight, drunk stories. I guess, Kelly, you're at the bat here. What's your number one? Not number one. Just give me any fucking drunk story you have alive that's really fucking funny.
Well, man, I guess the top couple of drunk stories I've had my entire life came in Kellogg, Idaho. I don't know if the air is thinner up there or what is up with that valley up there in northern Idaho, but for some reason when I get up there, I just tear it the fuck up, and it's terrible fucking hangovers too. Honestly, the first time we ever really drank, Pat and I were at our Uncle Bill's house, who's
God,
6'5", 450-pound motherfucker who can drink,
God.
You name it, 6 gallons of whiskey and wake up and be fine, go to church the next day.
So let me
drink with him.
Wait, before Kelly starts,
Kelly,
before you start here, let me preface this, by the way. So this is my senior year. After my senior year, I just won the 400 meter dash championship. I was not a drinker at that time at all whatsoever. I was not a drinker whatsoever.
Yeah, neither of us were.
And we go out to Uncle Bill's, and we're going to Seattle at this time to do this play fest or whatever the hell it is. So we stop in Kellogg, Idaho. The great Uncle Bill, he lives on this old house right above Kellogg, Idaho, beautiful view, mountains, everything else. But he kind of just is one of those guys. He's an old guy that just kind of sits there and drinks on his back porch. And we're basic kids here, so the influence of alcohol kind of has a big impact on you. Anyways, Kelly, go ahead with the story.
Yeah, but Uncle Bill was definitely a veteran drinker. We had no business being there. I don't know why he let us drink with him, but we didn't really know. You don't know shit when you're a kid. So so we were thinking like, when you mix a drink, you mix 3/4 alcohol or whatever, and then you just give a dab of your mixer. At least that's what I thought. So I was making drinks all night long that were pure alcohol and then a splash of cranberry juice or whatever. I don't know how much we drank. Probably nothing crazy. But when you don't drink, that shit hits you. And the next thing I know, it's like we fucking did ecstasy or shrooms or something, man, because everything was just like, like those goggles you put on to practice.
Let me cut you off for 2 seconds here, Kelly, and just more details on the story. So what happened was originally, so my grandma, we always, Uncle Bill is like a guy you want to visit and just hang out and have fun. We always visit him all the time, watch Seahawks games with him because Idaho is all about the Seahawks. And it was just a situation where like we went up there, we're like, we're just gonna visit him and we're gonna say hello and stuff like that. And what happened the first time was again, Kelly was the guy who was more into like, let's have a drink, let's have a shot, let's do whatever. And I was more the guy who was like, no, I'm not gonna do any of that stuff or whatever. So we go up there and we had one or two shots, and I barely choked them down because I didn't drink it all at the time. And at those 1-2 shots, of course, my mindset's going like, I feel pretty fucking good. I feel very good. So basically what happened was we were like, let's go down to grandma's house, have dinner or whatever, and then go back to the Uncle Bill's. Why they didn't see what was happening there, we're getting a buzz going and we should not been allowed to go back up there. I'm not sure why that didn't take course or whatever, but so I'm feeling it. Kelly's feeling it. We're having fun. I was like, you know what, Kelly, you're right. I need to fucking relax. Let's have some fucking fun. So we had the shots, went down, had dinner, and then we went back up there. And after we went back up there, Kelly, go ahead.
Yeah, then it just, I don't know how much time was in between there. I don't even remember going back down for dinner. You know, you tell that part of that story, but we get up there and yeah, just start drinking. And all of a sudden, again, it's like we were on some type of fucked up drug, at least for me. Everything's blurry, wearing the goggles, like the drunk driving test and everything. And yeah, that's about all I remember. And then I remember getting a ride home. Pat was like passed out or something. Bill had made like coffee. These guys got to get sober. Boiling hot coffee, just hands me a glass of it, a cup of it. And I just remember like drinking half of it before like my sensory whatever kicks in. And I was like, this is fucking boiling hot, you know, just burning the shit out of my tongue, burning the shit out of my throat. So I get a ride home later on from his friend Arlie. And the next thing I know, and Marianne Cameron was actually there. You know?
Yeah, let me go back, shoot a little bit here. So the funny thing is, and Mona can kind of grasp onto this, like, okay, you got two adult drinkers here who drink all the time, and they're getting high school kids fucked up. Think about that for a second. Like all of us, like, would if my son was in high school, would I be feeding him fucking shots of liquor for his first time drinking?
Of course you wouldn't. And of course, then you're also like not such a drunk piece of shit to know that like, we better get this kid boiling hot coffee to like sober him up. That's the dumbest fucking idea in the world.
You know the worst part of it though. So I was the first. So it hit me first. The reason Kelly got out of there is because it hit me first, and I started just fucking puking the bushes. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just puking for some reason. I'd never been that fucking drunk before, and they sit me down like I'm fucking Quasimodo because I still have memories of I almost never lose them around drinking, and they sit me down this big ass fucking chair on Quasimodo, and they're boiling. Kelly's there too. He's watching this take place because it didn't hit him yet. He probably doesn't remember this, but they put fucking boiling garlic water in a fucking drink and said, just give him this. It's going to instantly make him sober. I'm not even fucking joking. What do you think about that, Mahoney?
That seems like the most like drunk redneck Kellogg shit you could ever do, right? Like, yeah, boiling garlic water. This will straighten him out. Not only will it burn the top of his mouth, it'll burn his tongue too. He'll be fine.
So it's so fucking hot I can't even sip it. Basically, it's so insane. So they leave me. The truth is, the sad fact of the matter is, as the night goes on, is like Kelly left me. They left me up there. The problem was Kelly went back to Grandma Kay's house. Or Grandma Kay's house in Idaho. There's a bunch of rooms. There's a toy room because we used to play toys in the room. Kelly was in the toy room, started throwing up all over. I'd already got my thrown up done. I was done for the night, so I was good. If they'd let me at my Uncle Bill's just in Quasimodo in that chair, I would have been fucking fine. Well, what happened? Yeah.
I was just going to say, Marianne Cameron, you know, the guest a few podcasts ago, she was actually there because we were going out to the Millie Lewis convention in Seattle, which was an acting convention. And I don't remember any of this, but she says I came in her room that night and I was just like talking to her, and she could elaborate a little bit more, but I just, we love you and blah, blah, blah. And then I went to bed. I was supposed to sleep in the toy room, but I crawled in bed in the room next to it where my mom was sleeping on the top bunk. I crawled on the bottom bunk, shut my eyes. I thought everything was going to be fine. Next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground, just puke all over me. My mom's talking about taking us to the hospital and talking to our Uncle Phil. Like, you got to go up there. You got to get Pat. If Kelly's this bad, you got to go get Pat and see how he's doing.
So it's like, after he woke her up, she's like, where's Pat? Where the fuck is Pat? Well, he's doing his own thing. He's good. She called Uncle Bill at that moment. She's like just mad as fuck. Our mom, she's like, fuck, you're going to kill these fucking guys. I'm calling the cops and you're going to be fucking arrested right now. And she just went the fuck off. But anyways, my Uncle Phil's in for the real buzzers. They go on a trip in Northern Idaho. They go down and hike in this place and drink and shoot guns or whatever. And my Uncle Phil arrived that night during this whole puke fest or whatever. She sends my Uncle Phil, my godfather, up to Bill's place. And I'm passed out. I barely remember the ride home. Phil just fucking guided me out of the house, put me in the fucking car, threw me in the back because I was gone, and then fucking got me home. Well, I wake back up in Grandma Kay's yard, and again, it's like, fuck, I was good. Now I'm fucking puking my guts out in the backyard. Me and Kelly end up puking just crazy, just red, bloody puke because you're so fucking hammered. And then we both wake up, and I remember waking up like in that morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning when the fucking sun hit your fucking, the morning is the Pacific fucking sun hit your fucking eyes, and the first thing in the morning, it's like, wake up right away. I just remember waking up and be like, what the fuck happened last night?
Yeah. And I not accidentally, but my retainer, I just got my braces off. My retainer came out of my mouth and was on the floor. And my grandma, someone stepped on it and it broke in half. I just got this retainer. So my mom was pretty fucking happy about that. But woke up right next to the swing set, sitting upright against this little kid's swing set out in my grandma's backyard. And that was the first time I ever got drunk, and it's still top 3, maybe number 1, honestly. Maybe number 1.
It's a good one. That's a real good one. My most embarrassing is probably, and Pat, you'll probably remember this. This was opening night of the NFL, maybe 13 years. And they were opening on a Thursday night. And I don't remember who they were playing, but they were opening on a Thursday night. And a kid named Brett Damascus, who is a great Montana football player, for those who have no idea. Look him up in the annals of 2003, 2004. Great Class B Montana football player. He's a good friend of mine after the Class B All-Star game, and he went to Carroll with me. So anyway, I ended up living with him when I was working for the University of Washington. And so we decided, hey, we're going to go out with one of our friends, a kid named Travis. We called him Mousy. Everyone called him Mousy. And so we decided we're going to go out for beers. It's opening night of the NFL. So there's this bar called Goldie's in Seattle. And we decided we're going to go to Goldie's, which is no longer open. And we go to Goldie's and we're going to watch the Steelers play whoever the fuck they're playing. It's 2009. Whoever they're playing. I don't remember. They won pretty easily. And so anyway, we're doing our thing, having drinks. It's a Thursday. We're, basically fresh out of college. And me and Brett and this kid named Mousy were playing this kind of almost like a pretty annoying game of pool. Like speed pool, basically. Like there's 3 of us going against each other, and we're all doing this thing, and we're like shooting and we're just being, we're young in our fucking early 20s. We're annoying as fuck. We're loud as shit. Everyone's trying to watch the game. And so we're being dumb as shit. We're having beers. We're having, shots. We're having mixed drinks. And we order cheese fries. Whatever. That's fine. When you're young and dumb and drunk, that sounds delicious. So anyway, we're doing this. And then our friend Mousy, who me and my friend Brett Damascus had been beating the fuck out of in pool all night long. We're beating the shit out of this kid named Travis, a.k.a. Mousy. So he decides towards the end of the game, he's going to give us this shot called liquid cocaine. And we're like, that, whatever, that's fine. Like, we'll do whatever. Like, it's a Thursday, we're having fun. So he gives me this shot of liquid cocaine, and it's the last thing I remember. Like, I've never felt like I've been roofied more than I was in that moment. I remember sitting there, we're by the pool table. I'm taking a handful of cheese fries. I'm having this liquid cocaine shot. We cheers and do it. And then the lights fucking go up. Boom. So I have this shot. And mind you, this is we're on the West Coast. So this Steelers game starts at 5 o'clock on the West Coast.
Oh, where you at again then? What city or whatever?
Seattle? We're in Seattle.
You're in
Seattle
okay.
at a bar called Goldie's.
Okay.
In 2009.
All right.
And we're at this, and so I ended up like I remember we're having a good time, blah blah blah. We're being loud now, like we're being loud, kind of fucking annoying. And then all of a sudden, lights go out after liquid cocaine. I wake up with the bartender throwing just a bucket of ice cold water at me. What? And so to give you what? Oh yeah. To give you an idea, it's maybe 8 p.m. Maybe what? 8 p.m. And I'm on a bar stool, and so they have this bar stool. So there's a bar stool and these pillars kind of throughout the whole place. And so the pillars are next to, they have a bunch of pool tables and dartboards. And so we, like I said, we were the, annoying kids playing this game of pool that we made up. And so I don't remember I remember liquid cocaine, ice bath, right? Like it was that. And so I get this ice bath, and apparently I had been sleeping next on, like leaning on this pillar on my bar stool, and it's like 8:15 p.m. Like I'm gone, dude. I don't remember any of this. So I wake up and I'm like, okay, where the fuck is Brett? Where is Mousy? And this guy gives me like my card or whatever. I like cash out. And then I'm like, okay, I walk out of this place. And for anyone familiar with Seattle, I walk out and I'm on a very busy street. Like, so it's Thursday at 8 p.m. I'm absolutely shit-faced, and I am on a very busy street, like very busy. Essentially a main thoroughfare through Seattle. And so I walk out and I'm like, whatever, I got a bus pass that I had paid for like 3 months, and it's kind of like you get on. So I'm like, whatever, I know how to get home on this bus. So I walk across the street, stay at the bus stop, and I try to get on the bus, and they tell me I am too drunk to ride.
What?
So I was a mess. I knew I was a mess.
Hey, just a slight cut off here. I lived in Alaska for a long time, and there are flights from Anchorage going back to these native villages and stuff, and they would tell people, this is crazy. I've been on flights going in Alaska, and they would tell, and not always native, but white guy, whatever. They would tell people that came on to those flights, you're too fucking drunk to fly. They would kick them off and make them stay in Anchorage. So that's a crazy thing, but it happens a lot of places. Anyways,
that's crazy.
So I couldn't believe it. Like I knew I was drunk, but I also in my head I was like, I'm kind of like I'm on autopilot, right? Like I know how to get to my house. I have my bus card. I'm going to do the right thing. So I get on, and then I get kicked off because I'm too drunk to ride. And then of course they tell me I'm too drunk to ride. And as a drunk person, of course I didn't take that well. And of course I fucking screamed at of course I screamed at the bus driver. Like, like that was an uglier piece of the evening because I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? The whole point of being too drunk is to ride the bus. So I lost my marbles at this poor guy who was just trying to earn his paycheck on a random Thursday night, right? So anyway, the funnier part of the evening is, so I live with a kid named Brett Damascus who had ghosted me after I got roofied. So we also lived with another person that we went to college with, a kid named Ben. And so I don't remember any of this. This is a random Thursday in September. So I remember getting kicked off the bus because I was too drunk to ride, and I don't remember that the night goes boom, and then I wake up in my bed.
Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy.
And I'm in the I had only been in Seattle for 3 months, maybe. I don't know the area that well at all, and we're like in Seattle, like proper like downtown. So I wake up the next morning, my window's open. I'm fully like I'm working in a business job, so I'm in like a button-up shirt and like nice pants. I've passed out in that shit, and my window's wide open, and I wake up because I was like, I never sleep with the window open, and I see just vomited cheese fries on top of the roof, like like projectile vomited. And then I get up because remind you, this is a fucking Thursday. I got Friday. I got a whole day to work.
Holy fuck.
And so me and Brett used to just ride the bus from our place to work because it used to drop us right off at the University of Washington where I was working. And I wake Brett up with like 2 minutes to get ready for the bus. He was a mess. He was in worse shape than I was. Oh, and so we wake up and we walk out of the front door, and there is a pile of cheese fries like this deep of just vomit cheese fries on the front door, the steps, and all the way up. So our friend Ben, who had we worked with, that we went to college with, was like, yeah, so Mahoney, I saw you. And mind you, I don't remember any of this, but I was in like business casual, like really nice button-up shirt, nice dress pants, nice dress shoes, and I had a messenger bag, which is kind of like an Indiana Jones bag for like holding your laptop, right? He's like, yeah, I saw you fucking sprinting from 3 blocks from our house. So apparently what I did is when I got kicked off the bus, I ran as fast as I could from there until the house we lived in all of my business casual outfit. Mind you, again, this is like 8:15 p.m. It's daylight, and I'm drunk sprinting. And then my friend Brett decides he's going to stop at a gas station that's like a block away from our house, and he's going to try and buy marijuana. And if you've ever been to a big city, you'll know that there's a lot of people out there who will sell you fake marijuana. And so this guy, Brett, walks up to this guy that he thinks he's super racist. He's from Thompson Falls, which is smaller than Deer Lodge. He walks up to a guy that he thinks, hey, this guy probably sells marijuana because he's racist. And he walks up to the guy and he says, hey, you sell any marijuana tonight? And the guy's like, oh, you want some of that purple kush, brother? And my friend Brett's like, of course I want some of that purple kush. And so what this guy says is, tell you what, you give me $40 and go buy me 2 40s from that gas station, I'll give you some of that purple kush. So my dumbass friend buys him 2 40s and then gives him $40 in cash. And he wakes up the next morning to pencil shavings. And that's one of my favorite memories from Steelers football. I mean, that was
that's so fucking funny. Steelers football, because you mentioned that, Moni, and I love how the story ends. Where basically, for the kids out there reading this as a children's storybook, he basically ran home the entire way, which is not too unfamiliar from the Patriots Steelers game that I went to, and I got pissed off as an Uber driver.
Pat, you got to tell that story, but I just wanted to make 2 comments, ahead. Mahoney, on yours. One, how the fuck have I never heard that story before? I've never heard that story, I swear to God.
I felt like it was one of the ones I told at JB's, because like anytime I see Damascus, I always talk about Purple Kush because it's like his most embarrassing moment in his life. And I also like, I had to apologize to so many people because apparently I sent like some very not good text messages that evening that I don't remember sending.
Well, yeah. Maybe, I mean, I kind of vaguely remember this story. So if it is a story you've told, you don't tell it very often. But anyways, I just had a quick comment on another time that I was drunk downtown in Milwaukee for my 20th birthday, which I got way more fucked up on than my 21st. I didn't do shit on my 21st. My 20th birthday, I went downtown Milwaukee. The last thing I remember is getting in a cab, and then I woke up in my closet covered in like all of my clothes from the hangers. All of them had fallen off. I apparently passed out in my closet and slept there.
Milwaukee. So we have a lot of stories here. I just want this. I'm gonna make this very brief because this isn't like the drunkest story alive. This is just me being a fucking maniac. Basically, I was at the a couple years ago. I was at the Patriots Steelers game, and I'm a diehard Steelers fan for our audience out there. And my wife got me tickets at the time, ex-wife now, by the way. Anyways, she got me tickets out there, and the fucking game was amazing. Pittsburgh won. You can all look it up. It was everything big happened in the end zone. Antonio Brown had the go-ahead touchdown in the end zone, and it was a great fucking game. So, anyways, I haven't been out in Pittsburgh in years. I had not been to Pittsburgh in fucking years, and I knew they had this underground subway system. So, if you don't know Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, when you go to the stadium, it's like North Shore, and basically it's a bottleneck trying to get the fuck out of the stadiums. It's very easy to get down there. It's very hard to get out. So I followed the crowd to what was it's a free subway that was being built when I lived there like 10 years ago or 12 years ago, whatever. And I just followed the crowd. I was like, okay, this subway goes under the rivers and stuff and takes me to fucking the downtown area. So I got the downtown area. So I'm gonna get an Uber, easy Uber in downtown Pittsburgh, not a problem. Yeah. So what happened was my Uber driver fucked up or something. I swear I had the location right, and they just fucked it up or whatever. And basically, because I know Pittsburgh pretty well and I have my GPS, I ran basically 5 fucking miles through fucking Pittsburgh, through the ghettos, through everything. I haven't been this part of Pittsburgh was not very familiar to me. I just ran through the ghettos, everything. Ran after being drunk. I ran for fucking 5 miles through ghettos and everything else. Got back to my hotel, way far away from the stadiums, and that's probably my craziest Pittsburgh story. I have more Pittsburgh stories being drunk, but that's one of my best. Is like I just heard Mahoney talk about running. I wasn't fucked up like Mahoney was. I was just like, fuck this. I want to get home. I hate these Uber drivers. I'm in the ghetto. Let's just fucking run until I get home. So
like apparently my roommate Ben, who was not drunk because it was Thursday at 8 p.m. He was like, man, like you were hauling. And I was like, honestly, I wish someone had timed me. That probably be my best 400 time, because apparently I was really beating feet and I threw up a whole lot of cheese fries that evening.
Well, yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick, just like Pittsburgh and Seattle, they're not the same city, obviously, but it's kind of the same thing where I imagine Mahoney, you're not exactly, when you just say I'm gonna fucking run, you're not exactly running through the prettiest neighborhoods alive in Seattle. So you're probably hauling ass pretty well to get home.
No, and I mean, like, I apparently was like, because I don't remember it, but apparently, like, I was full, like, open stride, just like going, like I was running. And for the people who don't understand, I was probably 14 blocks away from where I was at, and apparently, when I got kicked off the bus, my drunk ass was just like, okay, I'm going to test my endurance. And I just went as fast as I could, as far as I could. And apparently that got me right to my doorstep where I threw up 1.5 pounds of cheese fries.
Let's add one more story to the mix.
Is someone going to fucking tell the story about Wallace It Is?
Yeah, that's probably the second drunkest I've ever been. But I just wanted to add one to, Pat ran through Pittsburgh, you ran through Seattle. I ran through Chicago, and I know it was 5.5 miles because the yellow line, which took me to my house, was far from done for the night. It ended like at 9:30 or 10. And I got home at 3 a.m. and I had found a casino, and I had lost every fucking cent I had except for maybe $3.50. And I couldn't even afford a fucking cab. So I just, right then and there, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking run, 5.5 miles. And I was in sandals. So I'd take off my sandals, run through people's lawns, run through people's yards, jumping fences, all that kind of shit. And I was starving too. And I saw a steak and shake. And I went in and I literally could not afford any fucking thing on the menu. But yeah, so we've done that in multiple cities, all three of us.
Kelly, would you say that was like one of the high points of your life? Would you say that was the point you were like, I've made it?
No, pretty fucking depressing. I remember going to sleep. I got home like at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. The sun was up, and I went to sleep because I was a music teacher out there, and I had a student at 2 in the afternoon. I was like, fuck, I got 6 hours to sleep this off.
You know the funny thing is, Kelly had. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think we've all had those nights, and mine is the most vivid night I remember of like, you wake up and you go through, there's 2 stages of like, oh, thank Christ, I know where I'm at. And then, oh shit, what messages did I send out? Right? Like, I'm so glad I'm here and I need to check my phone. And I think everyone in the world has had that of like, oh, I made it. And they're like, oh no, who did I say?
Oh, I had this morning. I had that, by the way. Sorry, I need to cut myself. I think it's funny though. The commentary is like, okay, basically Mahoney, you had to do it. Basically Kelly, you had to do it. And I basically said, fuck it, I choose to do it.
Mahoney got kicked off a bus. I had no money, and you were on an adrenaline rush because the Steelers had beat the fucking Patriots.
Basically. It was fucking wild. It was crazy.
I said, fuck it, I'm running through the ghetto tonight.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, you're really fucking stupid in your 20s. And anybody that's listening to this that's younger, you know, like, be really careful, because you think you're invisible, you think you're invincible or whatever, and you just think you can do all this stuff. And the more you drink, sadly, the worse it gets. You know, you think you're fucking, you know, He-Man or whatever. Yeah. But the more confident you get while you're drinking, the more of a hangover you're going to have tomorrow. I swear to God.
That's a good point, though, Kelly, in your 20s, because I did that shit like 2 years ago.
But honestly, I'll say the one thing, and these guys have seen me at my worst. Like, surround yourself with people who understand who you are as a real person, because like those 2 guys that I was drinking with in Seattle after, you know, the Steelers game, they were my friends, but my real friends would have never let me get ice bucket water tossed on me at 8:15 p.m. on a Thursday.
And the idea that they will leave you, that's kind of a little bit sad, but funny. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you know, like, it makes the story funnier, but also like,
why would they leave you?
I would never leave you 2 like that. Even if I was like near the same condition as you, I would never leave you.
Yeah, that's a good point though, because like me and Kelly can relate to this. My Uncle Dale died of alcohol poisoning. He's just an alcoholic. He just died of alcohol poisoning. So what did his friends do that back him up when he died of alcohol poisoning? They went in and fucking stole his fucking bathtub and his toilet. So it's like
his TV, everything.
They stole everything, you know, and he was just sitting there fucking dead. And they didn't give a fuck. So it's like, I admit that, like, you go out and you can drink hard, be around people you can actually fucking trust in life, because like us, like, it's like Kelly's bachelor party is like, would we take our party bus and be like, okay, well, Mahoney's too drunk, we're just gonna fucking leave in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, and just he can figure it out. It's like, no. We don't fucking do that.
That's a bullshit move, even if someone's sober, you know. Hey, find your fucking way home, you know.
No, I don't know. I don't understand that at all. It's because that's pretty fucked up, to tell you the truth. That's not.
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You just understand, like, we've been friends for so long that we understand. Like, we've also been around each other when we're like, okay, he's had enough beers. We'll manage the night and we'll make sure he gets somewhere, right? Like, we're not dicks because we understand each other. Where like those guys were like, oh, I bet this will be funny. I gave this guy some like Rufalin injected liquid cocaine, and he's going to wake up with an ice bath in this bar that he's never been into. Like, how's that funny?
Yeah,
it's not fucking funny.
It is kind of funny right now.
It's funny now.
It's kind of fucked up though. Like, to leave someone that fucked up in the middle of nowhere, Seattle,
especially a friend.
They haven't been there, you know.
It's this bar I've never been to. It's a Thursday, and then like, what are you doing? How is this funny to you? Like,
well, and you're
not even there to see the like punchline.
Yeah, I wouldn't even do that, honestly. I mean, and I'm older now, but I wouldn't even do that to somebody that I vaguely know or kind of an acquaintance or whatever. It's like, if someone's fucked up, someone's fucked up. It's like, be a human, because this shit can have dire consequences. Like, literally somebody can die if you don't like be responsible right now. And again, it's worse in I don't even want to think about your teens, but your fucking 20s, it's way worse because you just don't think anything can happen to you, you know?
No, and I mean, like you said, when you're in your teens and early 20s and you got that good buzz going, you think you're fucking Superman, right? Like, I'll jump from this car, I'll jump from this cliff. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm young and I'm fucking indestructible, and you don't get it.
Yeah.
And the fact that kid, like, I've never really forgiven that kid, honestly, like, because I know for a fact, like, we were buzzed, but we weren't drunk. And then I had this shot that I never had before, and the lights go out. Like,
exactly.
Me and my friend Brett were the same way. Like, okay, so we can handle our liquor. We're small town Montana kids. We get it. And then all of a sudden, we have this shot, and the lights go out for both of us. Like,
yeah, that's fucked
is
up,
that
man.
How is that funny for you? Like,
yeah, no shit.
Where's the punchline? You weren't even there to watch us be idiots.
Yeah, no fucking shit, man. Yeah, it's scary. And you know, the older you get, the more experience you get with things. Hopefully, the wiser you get. So I think, you know, nowadays everybody, you know, has an off switch. Like, okay, I know I'm going to be hungover tomorrow. I just did this shot. I just did 2 shots, whatever. You know, you're going to be hungover. So you don't just continue. I mean, sometimes you do, but you still know when to, like, I got to get home. I got to cut it off. You know what time it is. And you know what to expect the next day. And no one ever looks forward to that, especially as the hangovers become 10 times worse the older you get. I never thought that was a reality when people would say that to me, but it's so true.
It is true. Hangovers last like days now, compared to other times. But like,
well, and they do last days, unless when you wake up hungover and you just drink again, and then it's like they never go away.
But then you turn into a full-fledged alcoholic if you continuously do that.
So we call that strategy is the fucking Butte 4th of July strategy. You go out Thursday. Oh, not Thursday, but July 3rd in Butte. It's fucking nuts. After the fireworks go off, they wake up the next morning, going to the fucking 4th of July parade in Butte, just drinking Twisted Teas in the first thing in the morning. And it's just, yep, you take a nap about 3:00 that day of 4th of July.
And honestly, it reminds me of my college years of when you'd go and you'd suit up and you'd play the game or whatever. And then you get done with the game, you'd go have dinner with your parents, and then you'd take a nap from like 6 to 8 p.m. and then you wake up and then the party starts. And it's like I was doing that in my 20s. Why am I not doing that in my 30s? You know, that was a really good idea.
Yeah, so let's talk about, Kelly, a drunk experience that we all can have together here. And the funny thing is, these are the years we're going to talk about Idaho trips. Kellogg, Idaho. I think Mahoney remembers Kellogg, Idaho pretty well at this point.
Hard to forget.
Yeah. So unfortunately, our youngest brother, Matt, did not participate in these crazy ass trips because me and Kelly were single at the time, and Matt was in a serious relationship. So me and Kelly at the time were called Thing 1 and Thing 2 because we just go to a house party and just wreak havoc. Anyways, at the last second, everybody quits on Kelly's trip. It was Kelly's idea. He was organized the trip. Carson Better quit. Matt quit. I think Dave Field even quit at the last second. I never forget this because it was pretty much days before. Kelly's like, "Okay, Pat, you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, man." And then days before, like Moni can verify this. Like, first days before, he's like, "Hey, Moni, you want to come from Carroll and just go to fucking Idaho with us?"
And like what was funny is for our friendship to like go back. Anytime I felt like anytime I wanted to hang out on the weekend or like have them over or like do whatever, go to a movie in Butte or Missoula, they'd be like, "Oh no, we're in Kellogg." So it always felt like you're probably not in fucking Kellogg. You can just say no like an adult.
But we really were.
So anyway, it was honestly, it might have been the Thursday before the Friday they were going to leave. And either Pat or Kelly was like, "Hey, you want to go to Kellogg?" And I was like, "Fuck it. Yeah, I do. Let's go."
So yeah, the story goes, we go over the Friday night and we get fucked and hammered from Western Montana through Kellogg, Northern Idaho. Shitload of fun. We went to the bars in Kellogg, Idaho Friday night, and they were just fucking dead as fuck. We played some pinball or something, and we just got the fuck out of here. So the next day, we go on this big ass hike. we told Mahoney we were going for a cliff hike. And then the cliff hike was like, well, hey, Mahoney, why don't we go Scarecrow's Cross? The Scarecrow's Cross in Kellogg, Idaho is just a ways up above the cliff. And then from Scarecrow's Cross, me and Kel looked at Mahoney's like, what if we just did the loop for fun? And Mahoney's like, oh, the loop, that doesn't sound bad. Like, yeah, the loop, it's not bad. So the loop ended up taking fucking 6 hours.
Well, we had never, I don't know about Pat, but I had never hiked the loop until that point. So I didn't actually know where the fuck we were going until we were 3 feet deep in snow.
I felt as my like balls were touching the snow, I'm like, maybe these guys don't know where they're going. That felt like pretty real to me at that point.
So the fucking Luke in Kellogg, Idaho, I had actually ran it with Tim Major once, our Uncle Tim. I ran with him once, and it fucking sucked. We were in snow the entire time. It was terrible. I thought the snow was melted down enough, although it was like fucking April, that clearly wasn't a fact at that point.
Yeah, I remember it vividly because it was NBA All-Star Weekend, which is like usually early to mid-April. Because I remember it vividly because I was just like, came down from that stupid hike. I was so pissed because I was just like, oh, I didn't want to do this. And your grand.
What is with the internet tonight? I'm sorry, folks. Internet's fucking shit.
Yeah, it's not just me. Is that on Mahoney's end or is that me?
I don't really fucking know, to tell the truth.
He looks like Helen Keller right now.
Jesus. You guys can't talk to me that way.
I'll just be like, you know what? I'll sit it out. These guys will go. And she like basically put them on me. What's this? I'm on like land shit, so I should be fine.
Yeah, you should.
I don't know if it's Deer Lodge or what's going on. It's freezing way worse tonight than usual.
Yeah.
Kind of like you're in the loop.
It's probably because you're not in a Miami bathroom. Like, how did we have a better setup with you in a Miami bathroom than you 2 rooms away from your fucking
what was it? Was it fucking Miami before that? Was it fucking Nashville before that?
It was actually Mount Vernon, Illinois. Yeah, Mount Vernon, Illinois. Yeah.
Hey, Kelly, can you remind the audience when you stayed in Nashville, like who paid for that room?
I don't know. Some guy that got super fucked up at Goldie's in 2009. See, I don't know, Mahoney. You're kind of freezing out there, but on my end. But the cliff, just so everyone knows, in Kellogg, you could see it from Kellogg. It's like 100 yards away. So, like, you want to hike the cliff? He's like, sure, you could see it. But then, as Pat said, Scarecrow's Cross, another half mile up past that, and then the loop. But yeah, that what should have been a 10-minute hike turned into literally all day. I'm talking 6-7 hours probably, because we came down in the middle of fucking nowhere. We had some chili, we had some matches. We stopped on like this old mining road in the middle of Kellogg, giant mountains all around you, and made some chili. So the point of the matter is we came down exhausted as fuck that night.
Yeah, the point was, yeah. So we, I had did it once. Kelly had not done the loop at all, and I was trying to guess exactly where we're supposed to come down, go across, all those things, so you can end up in the middle of nowhere. Basically, we guessed some point to just say, let's just come down where we're at, and then we had there's a mine trail there. We started a little bit of a fire, had some chili, and before you know it, we were heading down fucking some guy's bizarre background or his backyard or whatever. And so, Mahoney, we come out in this guy's backyard out of nowhere in Kellogg, Idaho. And what are your thoughts at that point?
So I was pissed. I don't think it's any like secret that I was fucking furious for any like.
Hey, but the chili tasted good.
And honestly, had I been with anyone other than the people I was with, like these guys always keep me fucking grounded. Of just like, you're getting pissed at dumb shit, and so we'd make us like the chili. Like there's a whole backstory to that.
And we actually filmed that whole thing. It's somewhere. We'll find it one of these days.
It's on DVD. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted no part of going on this hike, and I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever. I'm in Kellogg. Let's do it. And then Pat's like, hey, let's do this and let's do this. And then all of a sudden we're in this hip deep shit. And I was so pissed.
So
And I
anyways,
remember,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I remember it was the night of the All-Star game. And for anyone who knows me, like in my later life, post this, I always set that night aside of like, hey, the slam dunk contest and the 3-point contest, that's a drinking night for me. It became like a tradition for me in a weird way of like, hey, it started as this weird thing, but it ended up being like one of the funnest nights of my life. So anytime the dunk contest is on, if there's anyone over, it's like, we're drinking. And if you don't like it, fuck you, because here's the story.
So Mahoney, it's just so funny because our uncle Tony came by that day, and our cousin Mark Hall. Big, they're crazy drinkers and shit. We had this story gets better and better as it goes. Anyways, Mahoney's pissed off. He's drinking, and he's probably drinking more than he should during the annual slam dunk contest. I guarantee you that.
Just so you know, really quick, Mahoney and I were in the toy room where we had discussed the story of Bill. Where I puked everywhere. We were in my grandma's toy room, watching it on the screen, no bigger than this laptop I'm on. And we had even discussed, let's not get fucked up tonight. We're exhausted. You should never say those words ever.
Yeah, it's so funny because like, I don't know. I guarantee it was not like Grandma Kay. Maybe it was Tony. Somebody dropped me off at Uncle Bill's place. It was me and my cousin Mark Hall, and we were taking shot after shot after shot. So I was like, I told Mahoney the entire time, I'll watch the slam dunk contest with you. I didn't watch a fucking second of it.
That's the most I've ever seen of that slam dunk contest.
Not only did you not watch a second of it when it was over, you were like, hey, you guys should come to Uncle Bill's. And I had heard like tall tales of Uncle Bill, and I was like, all right, like I'll go see what this guy's about, right? And Kelly's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, like Pat's beat's fine, he can't be that. Turns out that ended up being the kind of the move that like turned the whole night on its head.
Turned the night on its whole fucking head there, folks. So what happened was, my Uncle Bill doesn't like people that come around very much. So what happened was, I was pretty fucked up. I was drinking. Mahoney shows up, and basically we had this plan where Mahoney's going to show up and show his state, or not state, but his national title championship with Carroll College, and he was going to show the ring to Uncle Bill. Basically, he showed the ring to Uncle Bill. Things got fucking weird from there, and we just left and said, "Let's go hit the fucking bars. Here we go, boys."
Yeah, which is a terrible choice. And I just remember, like, we don't generally pound shots together. Usually it's just let's have a few beers and hang out. But that night was definitely a shot night, and that's what fucked me up. I think we went to In Cahoots first, and Pat found a little girlfriend there.
Yes, In Cahoots. In Cahoots. We went to In Cahoots, and I was already fucked up. Tony Major, our great uncle, was not buying shit. Mark Hall. Do you remember Moni, our cousin Mark Hall was in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho? He was pushing shit constantly.
He was, dude. Like I remember at In Cahoots because there was people doing karaoke. I remember we got there and I was just like, I had this whole weird experience with Bill, and he just kept calling me, "Oh, you're a big motherfucker," and I was like, "What is going? Like, this is like, you're a Star Wars character. Like, what the fuck is going on, right?" And then, so then we go down In Cahoots, and Mark Hall just keeps like lining up shots like he had like gone to high school with the bartender, and he's just like lining up. It felt like it was like, like, here, take a shot, boom, 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 and there's someone doing karaoke. And Mark had told me and Kelly to go, hey, you guys should go do karaoke. And he keeps feeding us shots. And so me and Kelly are next in line for karaoke. And then we lose Pat. And we're like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Like, we need to go. And so we turn, and Pat's like, he's just, tongue to tongue with some townie. And we're like, all right, we got to get the fuck out of here.
So, but here's what happened, though. Next, I remember this pretty verbatim is we went from In Cahoots, and the first stop, we actually went down to fucking Eddie Joe's.
Is that where?
Didn't we go to Dirty Ernie's first? Because Mahoney and I had the little porch thing up there.
Oh shit,
Where-
maybe it was Dirty Earnings. Might have been Dirty Earnings first, actually.
Where's the place where I was gonna beat the shit out of that kid?
That was
That
Eddie
was Eddie
Joe's, but I thought we went to Dirty Ernie's first, which is up on the hill. And
No, we
no,
did.
we
You're
did.
right.
No,
You're right.
no. We met those fucking chicks at Dirty Ernie's. In Cahoots is fun. We met them at Dirty Ernie's.
Okay, well,
yes.
if that's the truth, then you picked up that one redheaded chick and went back to In Cahoots sometime because that's where we picked you up.
No, it went from Dirty Ernie's where they first hooked up. They jumped on our fucking car. She started sticking our tongue down my fucking mouth.
Oh, you're right.
Yes,
You're right.
and then we ended up at Eddie Joe's, and then I'm not going to go into details of what happened at Eddie Joe's with me and her, but it got it started getting.
But first we stopped at Dirty Ernie's, and this is if no one's ever been there. It's in Kellogg, Idaho. Obviously, it looks over the football field. The only bar in America that does that. So Mahoney and I just turned into huge fucking assholes, and Mahoney wants to throw a. I think the statute of limitations is up on this, so we can talk about it.
Oh yeah, we're good. But what's fucked up is your Uncle Tony blames me for the vacuum, and I wasn't the fucking vacuum.
You were a chair.
I was a chair.
Yeah. Me and Kelly, we get this idea to start just throwing random shit off there at this. So Dirty Earnings, so those that don't know, Dirty Earnings in Kellogg, Idaho, it's this big bar. It overlooks the entire high school football field. So there's like this big 50-foot drop or whatever you want to say from Dirty Earnings back porch to the actual field. Basically they weren't monitoring it that night. And what happened after that, Kelly? We went to the back porch and then.
Well, some stuff might have been thrown off, but Mahoney picked up a chair to throw it off, and I was like, dude, no, you don't want to do that. No, let's not fuck around here. He's like, what are they gonna do? You know, all drunk. So I'm trying to talk him out of it. He throws it off, and after I try to talk him out of it, he turns around. And I got a vacuum cleaner, and I'm just chucking it as far as I fucking can.
And so he had talked like he misremembers the story just a touch. So he was like, dude, don't do that. You're not from around here. This is like my family's from here. Like, let's not do that. And so I'm like, because I had this chair at like my hip. I was getting ready to just chuck it. And he talks me down. He gives me this whole big speech about like, dude, that's not what we're about here. That's not what Kellogg is. And so I get ready to set the chair down, and then I turn out in my corner of my eye. I see him. He's got a vacuum cleaner, like getting ready to he's ready to throw it in the fucking state javelin, and he just launches it. So when I see him launch that, I have this chair at my hip. I just toss it. And then I look at him, and he's like, "Hey, you should probably fucking go."
So from there, we're taught these girls, me and Mark Hall, my cousin here, and it was just all fun. So from Kellogg, Idaho, from Dirty Earnings down, Dirty Earnings down to Eddie Joe's, it's like this little slant down a hill, and you can walk there or whatever. But these girls, I mean these fucking girls, they decided to jump in the back of our fucking car out of fucking nowhere. By the way, we didn't invite them; they just like jumped in the back of our car. So I'm just like sitting in the back of the car, and all of a sudden I turn around to one of them and it's like, hey, what's up? And she sticks her fucking tongue down my fucking throat. And suddenly my drunk boner starts to hit. And if you've been drunk with a boner, anyways, we started making out in the back of the fucking car with some girls that I don't fucking know. I'd never seen in my life. And we start fucking making out in the back of the fucking car. And we're headed to Dirty Ernie's. And we get out Dirty Ernie's there. And then what's the first thing you remember about Dirty Ernie's, Kelly or Mahoney?
We walk in, and again, this was a shot night, which we don't like do that, but we did shots everywhere we went. So we go into Eddie Joe's, and none of us really have a lot of money. You know, this, again, give us a break, folks. This is like 16, 17 years ago. So we walk into Eddie Joe's, and I start sweet talking the bartender. I'm like, look, hey, you line up, 8 shots or whatever, or 10 shots, however many people were there. And I say, I'll give you a big tip for this. So if you give me a deal. So she lines up the 8 shots, and then she charges me like $15 or something fucking stupid cheap. And then I gave her a $5 tip, and she got so mad, and she's like, there's the fucking door. So I proceed to just take one shot after the other. Just
Wait,
like,
I think that was in Walls. I think it was in Walls that happened.
No, that was still in Kellogg because I remember
there's more shots. There's more shots in Wallace. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, on to stay online with the timeline here. So, why Kelly's doing this, I have no fucking idea. Why have I no fucking idea? Because I am trying to fuck this random redhead chick in the back. So this is the back of the bar, and I'm sticking my hands down her fucking pants, grabbing her ass, grabbing her fucking vagina. I am doing everything to take the fucking tuna boat, to take the fucking meat boat to Tuna Town. I am on my fucking way, folks.
Just a real Prince Charming in the back there.
So I'm pounding these shots as Pat's taking the skim boat to Tuna Town, and I'm just like, I don't even remember at this point, but just saying like, oh, we're college kids and blah blah blah. My uncle is Eddie Joe. I butt fucked Eddie Joe, just yelling all this stupid shit, which he is like our second cousin or whatever. And then some local redneck logger starts talking about how he makes like $30,000 a year and getting in our face. And then Mahoney just exploded, and I'll let you take over there.
Yeah, what happened there, Mahoney?
Well, so he went at Kelly, and I just like, I didn't love the way the bartender was talking to him, but I was like, whatever, I'm not from here. But, I was like, I don't, and Kelly seemed to be handling it just fine. Like he knew the names, like whatever. I was just going to let it go. And then this guy comes at him and he's like, hey, you fucking college kids think you're better than us? And he came at him like way too hard. And I didn't like what he was bringing. And I'm like, for the people who know me, I'm not quick to like fight people, but like I was ready to beat the fuck out of this kid, like pretty much instantly. And, so he comes at Kelly, and he comes at him with like, oh, how much of a tip did you leave? And Kelly's like, well, I left a $5 tip for whatever drinks he was buying. And he's like, that's all you can do? I work at wherever he works. I work at I'm a douchebagaholic.com, and I make this amount of money. And so he's like, hey, I'll order the same thing and I'll give you 3 times the tip. And I was like, okay, like congratulations, like you can't pay your rent now, like big guy, you really proved a point there to some guy you don't know, right? So anyway, he didn't care for me talking shit to him, even though I just called him out on clearly his bullshit, like, hey, you can't like watch cable because you're being a tough guy.
And then didn't you end up out in the parking lot just like screaming like an insane person, like, "I'll fuck you up, motherfucker"?
I wasn't like, you guys know me, I'm not like quick to anger. But anyway, this kid, like, so I said some shit to him about like, oh wow, you're a real big guy getting the young 20-year-old college kids. He's like, oh, you guys think you're better than me because you're going to college? And he came down, and then he started saying, get her done, like over and over. Like, so I was making like really good arguments because like he's not smart. And then, right. And so I'm making these like really good arguments about like, hey dude, like, can you just not? And he's like, oh, get her done. Get her done. Thumbs up. And then he starts getting in Kelly's face, and he's like bumping Kelly. He's like, get her done there, cheap ass. And I was like, all right, motherfucker, let's go outside. And for the people who know me, like, I'm not that kind of person. And then I invited him outside pretty aggressively, and I said, bring your whole fucking crew. And it takes a lot to get me to the point where I'm like really pissed off. And so he kept, all he was doing, because he's an idiot, was saying get her done over and over. And so I kept yelling at him like a normal person who's not a moron. Was like telling me how dumb he was. And I was like, you know what, come outside, motherfucker. And so then it ended up like, yeah, we were outside and I was screaming, and like you guys were holding me back, and I was ready to murder everyone in Eddie Joe's. It's as
you were
mad,
pretty angry.
it's as mad as I can. Like I wanted that kid to come out there so I could get put in jail for fucking beating the shit out of him. I can't tell you how bad I wanted that kid to come out to be like, oh yeah, tough college kid. And so I could fucking just, I wanted to hit him so hard his fucking grandkids could feel it. I wanted all of it. I wanted all of his bullshit. I wanted every fucking bit of it.
So Mahoney that anger continued throughout the night, and it gets better. But Pat, I want to ask, where did you leave? Because we picked you up in Cahoots, or did we all go to In Cahoots again after that?
No, here's what
we
yes.
saved him. We saved him.
Yes,
right.
So
but how did he get there?
So I'm gonna go back here, Kelly. We all went back to In Cahoots. So I was basically dry fucking this girl at Eddie Joe's, and I don't even recall what she looks like at all. But I don't know what. I think you guys. God, I wish I would get back here.
I can hear it. He can hear you.
All right. So what I think though is what happened was like, I think you, Mahoney, Mark Hall, fucking Tony. I think you guys all kind of hatched a plan here of what to do with the situation that I was in, because I was about to fuck this girl. So I'm gonna go with you. It was like, I think you guys honestly hatched some kind of plan here that I was not aware of, because what happened though from Eddie Joe's is I was balls deep in this girl. Like, we were gonna fuck that night pretty much, and basically it was weird because we went back to In Cahoots, and that's why I think you guys had this plan all along, because we went to In Cahoots. And I went with her to the back part of the bar or whatever. And then I think it was Mahoney or Kelly or Mark Hall. Someone came up to me and was like, hey, Pat, did you just come out for like 2 fucking seconds? So
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
That was you? Okay.
That was me.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll come out for like 2 seconds or whatever. And you guys literally threw me in the fucking car and took off.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And in fairness to you, Pat, I was riding on a pretty big adrenaline high because I had just invited an entire bar to come out and fight me in the parking lot. So I was, in fairness to me, I was ready to go. But then I was also like, Pat doesn't want to be a part of this bullshit. So maybe I misread the room. So I did go in and get you. And I remember very vividly throwing you into the back seat. And you were like, hey, what the fuck you guys doing? And then we gave you a beer and you're like, all right, yeah. So you were mad for like 10 seconds.
No, but it was a weird. It was like it was. I remember it was pretty much close to a fucking kidnapping. It was not.
It was. I remember we literally hatched the plan. We talked about it. Like, we got to get the fuck out of here. And the plan was to go back to Grandma Kay's house. Now this is where it gets good, because the highway is literally about 200 yards from In Cahoots. So we're all cheering and laughing. The night's over, right? I'm like, oh yeah, you guys want to go to Wallace, which is about 10 miles from Kellogg. And I had no less than 10 shots at this point, no less. And then Mahoney's still pissed. He goes, no, I don't want to go to fucking Wallace.
Mahoney's pissed as fuck. So Mahoney's like, no, we're not going to Wallace. Yeah. And Mark Hall is drunk. Mark Hall's
for those listening, I don't typically get in a fighting mood, and I had just almost fought everyone in an entire town, like in a small bar. Like, I was on high alert.
So Kelly's
he's pissed off, and no, we're not going to Wallace. So it gets quiet just for about 5 seconds as we're getting up to the highway entrance, and I just go, Wallace it is! And I turn on the highway. Mahoney chewed me out for 10 miles.
So fucking pissed.
Tell me that part, Mahoney, where I was just driving.
I am fucking giving him the riot act. I am just chewing his fucking ear off, and you have never seen anyone more oblivious to an ass chewing. Just fucking sitting there, like you would have thought he was in paradise. This kid was smiling, like, I know he heard me, and guess what? The madder I got, the happier he was.
It was so fucking like, so Mo's going off and Kelly's relaxed, and like me and my Uncle Tony and Mark Hall are just, chips are going all over, just fucking eating chips. Like, oh, who cares? Whatever the fuck we're going. So we're going to Wallace. We're going to Wallace. This 10 miles down the road from Kellogg, and it's the middle of the night, and everybody's fucking wasted. This was a fucking terrible idea.
Yeah, it was a terrible, terrible fucking decision. So
I remember I was I was so pissed off. And mind you, I'm maybe 20. I call the girl who's now my wife, and she's 19.
This is
maybe
after. This is after though we park.
We park in walls. We park in a random ball walls we've never been to before.
And everyone goes in except for Mahoney. So
yes,
I don't go in because I'm so pissed. And I call the girl who's now my wife, and she's maybe 19, maybe 20. I'm like, you got to come fucking pick me up. So I'm obviously drunk because that's not normal thing.
And she's what, 250 miles away or something?
Way more. She's in Helena. She's fucking 400 miles away. And I think it's a good idea. And I call her at 1:30 in the fucking morning. Like a moron.
The funniest thing though, Mahoney, is I'm pretty sure only me and Kelly actually went to the bar. Nobody else went into it this.
All I remember the rest of the night was we walked in the Walls bar and I ordered more shots, thinking that all of us were going to take them. So I ordered one for each of us. And I'm pretty sure that I did all of them or most of them.
I had a couple of them or whatever, but I
think you, Pat, and Mark Hall had one each at least. And then that was, I don't Tony was with us, but I don't know if he was he was with us in body. I don't know if he was with us spiritually.
So I did probably a couple more shots, and then we get back to the car, and for some reason, you guys decide that I'm going to
the driver
fucking thing on the face of the planet. So I drove about half a mile, and something clicked in my head. I'm like, this is not a good fucking idea. I'm on the road.
By the way, too.
Fucking idea.
So there, for the audience out there, there's a frontage road between Wallside and Gilligo. We took the fucking highway over drunker than shit. Do not drink and drive. That's not the message podcast. Please do not drink and drive ever. That's a bad fucking idea.
We're just storytelling here.
Yeah, we're just.
I was pissed at Kelly, and I made him pull over. And Tony was like, "I got it," and I was like, "Tony, you don't even. Where are we?"
Yeah, we're on the fringe. Maybe there's a fringe right out there listening from.
And so Tony's like, "Oh, I got it. We're right here." And I was like, "I got it."
Yeah, the frontage road is right next to the fucking highway, so it's safer, but not quite. It's safer because it's lower speeds, but it's not quite if you still can't fucking see the fucking road.
So no, I was pissed off enough to drive us home safely, and shout out to Pat, who was just sober enough to be no, you need to turn at this road. And I remember we woke up and we were in the right spot.
I'll keep the wake up here sequence for a second because some shit happened later on there. So what happened was Kelly couldn't drive. We put Tony in the front seat. Tony couldn't Tony could not fucking drive. Mahoney, the guy who had nothing wanted to do with this entire fucking trip to Walls, was suddenly the DD of this trip.
It was. And I was I was so pissed. I had pissed myself off into sober driving, basically.
But the cool thing is a fringe road, though, it takes you right in through Kellogg. So basically what happened, Mahoney pulled in. I said, I'm getting out of the car. I'm going to go chase this pussy I was chasing the entire night. And everybody's like, no, Pat, you're not going to do that. I hit the unlock button. Mahoney's driving. I just literally dive out of the moving car in the middle.
Yeah, he was gone. And honestly,
I didn't know that.
I remember saying, "Hey, we should go get him." And Tony's like, "No, he's gone." It was the worst advice you could take. But I was also drunk enough to be like, "Yeah, you know what, Tone, you're right. He's gone."
in the middle of fucking traffic, no fucks given. I just fucking dove out of a moving car.
So did you meet up with them or what? Because I didn't know that part of the story.
Yeah, so I
knew he jumped. Did you? I remember you jumping out. I just remember also I remember Kelly throwing up before church and all that.
I think he's leaving. I think I told Mahoney though, slow down for 2 seconds. And he slowed down. Once he slowed down, I just opened the door and just fucking launched myself out of the car.
No, you did. It wasn't you did tell me to slow down, and I thought it was I didn't know my way around well enough. And I slowed down and you jumped out, and Tony was just like, "Oh, he's fine." Your uncle didn't give a fuck.
So I rolled off this is between the highways and shit. I just rolled off in the middle of the street. I went back into In Cahoots to find that girl that I was trying to fuck. I walked through the bar. I walked through the entire fucking bar. She wasn't there. you know? So then I said, all right, fuck it, I'll walk back to Grandma Kay's house or Grandma's house in Keller, Idaho. So what the fuck were you guys doing when I jumped out, though? You guys went and tried to hike a cliff. You parked at Grandma Kay's house. What happened then?
So, I mean, you'll have to ask Mahoney, but all I remember, the next thing I remember is the next morning I woke up in the same bed from the first story with Uncle Bill. I woke up and I had puke all over myself. And this was 6 a.m. Who knows what time. So I got up and I went and I ran myself a bath, and I managed to get in the bath, and then I passed out in the bathtub. And then you guys came in. Who knows? It must have been a couple hours later, because I remember the water just
that's funny though. The next morning, I remember like both me and Mahoney walked in because we both wanted to go to church, and I still remember like, Kelly, you're like in the like fucking toy room, like the toy room. Everyone knows the toy room in Grandma Kay's house at this point. And I remember like we walked in to see if you want to go to church, and your head was turned and it was fucking puke all over your shoulder. I was like, yeah, he's probably not going to make it.
Okay, so maybe it was after you guys left. I got in the bed,
and then we left, for church. Then we picked you back up and went to the fucking Knights of Columbus breakfast. So
who did we find? Because I remember going out. I remember going to church. Because Grandma Kay, like way before that, I set an alarm, and I also told Grandma Kay, I was like, hey, we want to go to mass. And she woke us up. And we came out, and there was someone passed out in the front lawn. Was that Mark Hall? Someone was passed out in the front lawn because they decided they wanted to, when we got to Grandma Kay's, they were going to climb the cliff.
That's probably
and then they passed out just right like in the middle of her front lawn. And she was just
okay. So I don't know about the front lawn thing, but now I do remember we did climb the cliff, which was retarded. Sorry, stupid. I remember coming down from the cliff, down on the pavement, walking down Mission Avenue, and I literally just face planted on the fucking concrete. That was the last thing I remember before going to bed.
What was the story though, Mahoney? You had so we're gonna recap this. Try to get our memories right here. So again, the last time you saw me, I literally jumped out of your car out of fucking nowhere, and you guys went. And I know once you went to Grandma Kay's house, Tony Major wanted to hike the cliff. Mark Hall did. The only thing I remember is I came back to hike the cliff. I remember passed out bodies along the way. But Mahoney, you had a story where I was fucking passed out in the middle of the street and refused to leave.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh shit! He's wigging out again. He's tweaking. Let him tweak.
He's tweaking. Let him tweak, folks. So again, we're coming back. I'm coming back from In Cahoots. I jumped out of a moving car out of nowhere, and go ahead. Here come Mahoney's going to go on here.
Well, fuck.
I remember because I was pissed off enough. You guys should come do this hike. Would we go do this hike? What the fuck is going on? I got perfect internet.
Oh, you're good now.
That's stupid. I don't like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Mario paint right now. Just give it a second.
Gotta let it load. I mean, that was the same day too. Remember that we did the loop the exact same day. So
yes, that was
going on a hike that night. Probably wasn't in.
Hearing cocktails involved.
Yeah, you just wigging out, man, for some reason.
Shit.
No, it was the dumbest fucking thing we could possibly do.
He's back on.
Right.
You're back on.
Are we cool? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're cool.
All right, we'll edit that in post. Anyway, so no, like I wanted no piece of another fucking hike because obviously I went on the dumbest hike in the world previously. And so they decide, hey, we get home. I was pissed that we were doing our thing. And they're like, hey, dude, we'll just go up to the cliff quick. We'll come back and we'll have one more beer and then we'll go to bed. which is like the fucking dumbest idea, in case anyone's wondering. Like, hey, we'll fucking climb up this steep ass cliff, and then we'll be like out of breath having a beer. And I don't know why anyone thought that was a fucking good idea. So anyway, we had lost Pat for a long time, like a long time. And everyone goes up this cliff. And I vaguely remember, not like I remember Pat, I do remember Pat for sure being passed out face down in his grandma's lawn. Like, I remember that vividly. I don't remember how he got from like wherever the fuck he was to that. I just remember everyone runs up this cliff and I'm sitting in your grandma's front lawn. I was like, this is so fucking dumb. Like, how did I get here? You know? And so then I remember Tony coming down, Kelly comes down, Mark comes down, and they kind of disappear. And then I remember Pat coming from pretty much nowhere. And then Pat, I know you don't remember this. Pat, he essentially is like, I'm watching these three guys climb up this cliff, and they come like 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden here's the special guest, and he goes boom, just fucking flat on the ground. And it's Pat, and he's out of fucking nowhere. And I was just like, but I don't know. This feels like it almost felt like a prank, because like the way you hit was like, I'm fucking with whoever's like actually awake here. Like, you fucking hit hard. And so I pick you up, drag you into the house, because I don't give a fuck about like Tony or Mark Hall, because they're just pieces of shit, right?
Well, it's like, how the fuck are we even moving at that point? And then the next morning, you guys go to mass. I don't make it. Then we go to the Knights of Columbus breakfast and everything. But the point of the matter for me is talking about drunk stories. For some reason, Kellogg, Idaho is up there in the top 3, the top 5 every single time. I don't know what it is about that place.
It always catches you. I've been to a lot of places, and I've had beers in a lot of places, and for whatever reason, Kellogg or in and around that area, it's just like it's like this vortex of like, you're gonna do something fucking stupid here, and you're gonna have to live with it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like I said, being up there. I mean, we're from Deer Lodge, so it's not really a excuse. I think the altitude and everything is lower in Kellogg, but there's just something about terrible hangovers there, terrible decisions. Maybe it's just you're so excited because our family's from there and everything, and the ghosts of all of our alcoholic ancestors haunt us or something. But yeah, two of the worst drinking experiences of my life were in Kellogg, Idaho.
And like, it's weird to say, like, it was that first time in Kellogg was definitely like one of the drunker experiences that I'll remember, but also like your bachelor party was one of the funnest times I've had in a long time. And was in the middle of Kellogg, in the middle of fucking nowhere, with just a bunch of our friends just doing dumb shit.
Yeah, it was a blast and a half, man. Absolutely. Hey, is it too early to say let's round them horses for this first time?
I think we ran horses this entire time. Going back to what Mahoney says, like, I remember like you told me during the bachelor party that I was passed out drunk in the middle of the street, and I was like, nope, just leave me. I'm just gonna stay here. And I kind of vaguely remember that now, where it's like I came back from the bars and I saw them trying to hike the cliff. So I was like, I'm gonna hike the cliff. I made like 2 fucking steps and just could not.
Well, see, what you did is, because you were actually in peak physical like condition at that time, is you made it way more than 2 steps because you were in really good shape, but you also took the dumbest possible route up the mountain. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, I'll get up the mountain, and then you took like 10 steps, but it was like in like straight vertical, like just not thinking of consequences.
Yeah. Well, I did not fuck that chick for the audience tonight. We had a lot of fun. I basically cum to my pants that night. For anyone who wants to know. The drunk stories we could tell are far beyond this, but I think we got our top best ones. I would say the audience has heard our top best drunk stories. They were just crazy. Yeah. Kelly, you coming back here to sign off, or I'm not sure what he's doing.
I mean, we haven't even told a single JB story, and we there's enough material to do 10 JB's shows.
Yeah, we're like fucking scratching the surface here tonight. This is like not even close to the drunk stories we could fucking tell. But yeah. So anyways, Kelly, we're gonna sign off here, and Kelly, we're gonna sign off here. Any last words here for this podcast here about drunk stories and some theater stories here tonight?
No, just it was fun, and yeah, just honestly watch yourself out there, especially younger people that are starting to experiment with alcohol and shit. It really is a dangerous thing. These are just stories. I think we're just all being honest here. But it's really not cool to kill yourself with alcohol. It's really not cool to drink and drive, all that. So that's the only disclaimer I'll throw out there, but it was a fun time rehashing these fun, but sometimes terrible memories.
Yeah. And Mahoney, what are your final thoughts here tonight?
It's really good. Is just surround yourself with people that you trust. That's if you're going to get out of control, if you're going to have a lot of fun. And a lot of times getting out of control is out of fun. And like, don't be weird about it, but understand who you're with, right? Like if you're going to let your hair down real big and you're just going to trust random people that you don't know that much, it's not a good idea. Just, I trust Kelly and Pat. They know my dirtiest secrets. They know the worst parts about me. Those are the kind of people you want to trust when you're the drunkest. You know what I mean? So they know me, they trust me, and I know them and I trust them. So just be smart. It's a lot of fun, and I get it. Like life is fucking hard. It really is. And sometimes you're just going to want to have a couple drinks and just like let it off your chest and just make sure you're around the right people. Just be safe. That's all I can say.
Yeah, so I just want to add on to both what Kelly and Mahoney said there. Is like, number one, this episode, we're not encouraging drinking and driving. There's been so many bad accidents and stuff from drinking and driving. That's not something we're ever going to encourage. We had an insane night here and whatnot. But I want to mainly focus though on what Mahoney said. It's like, if you're going to get wasted or do drugs, honestly, because I'm a pretty libertarian about whatever, like do it around people you really fucking trust and shit. You can go back and say, well, they'd let you dive out of a moving car, going down between two highways.
You know what? You forced that on us, Pat.
Yeah. But that in Kellogg, Idaho, a small town like Kellogg, Idaho, compared to like a place like downtown fucking Seattle, Washington, huge fucking difference. So it's like at the day, do what you gotta do to have fun or whatever, but do it with people to trust. Don't put yourself in situations in this fucking insanity. I create my own insanity. I ran home. I chose to run home from the Pittsburgh Steelers Patriots game. That was my choice. But a situation like Mahoney is like, you got left in a bar in the middle of nowhere in fucking Seattle. So don't ever fucking put yourself in a situation like that, because that's really kind of fucked up. It's where a lot of movies are made or whatever. Anyways, hope everybody enjoyed the podcast this week, and we're coming back strong next week. I got some people. I have some people on from Baltimore, Maryland next week. I'm hesitant because they're diehard Baltimore Raven fans, and I'm a Steelers fan. But we're gonna finally get back to a special guest next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show, the drunk talk, the theater talk. Everybody, any last words, Mahoney and Kelly? I'll let you guys end the show tonight. It was a lot of fun.
No, I just want to say I like how this turned into a PSA at the end, telling all these wild fucking stories in the last 5 minutes. But don't do anything we just talked about.
Hey, listen,
be smart.
Honestly, be smart, have a good time, and if you get super fucked up, just let your friend jump out of the side of the road.
I don't know. I think there's just bigger dreams out there, when you're in your 40s and 50s and shit. Don't fuck up when you're 20 years old because you think you're invisible. That's all I'll say.
Yes. When you're 20, you think everything matters, and guess what? It fucking doesn't. You're a nobody. That's my advice.
So the PSA is going to end. First of all, don't drink with friends you don't trust and leave you in the middle of downtown city. Don't drive drunk, shit-faced with 10 shots into you down the highway. Don't just suddenly jump out of a fucking moving vehicle in between two highways when cars are coming. Don't. Okay, there's too many. It's gonna take.
Don't finger fuck a redhead that's probably a dude.
And if you do, just keep your fingers in and let love happen.
There's too many don'ts to do a PSA for this one.
All right, gents. Good talking to you.
And I see you guys. All right, here we go.